and he continued to inquire why she was reaching out to him. She texted, "Hey, we're single and we don't have kids. We can do whatever we want." "Don't you have a boyfriend?" he asked.
I'd like to turn your attention to the next page, 34. I'm asking for your math, sir.
Defendant starts off and says, "Do you like me?" Question mark. I responded, "Yes, clearly." Defendant said, "Come over my house." I responded, "When?" Question mark. Defendant said, "When works for you?" I said, "Whoever," and then "whenever." "When works for you?" Question mark. The defendant said, "I asked you first." I responded, "I think you're messing with me." Defendant said, "I'm glad you came over tonight," with some type of face. I responded, "Me too. Ball's in your court. What do you want, Karen? You look great tonight."
If I can direct your attention to the next page, 35, and the second to last blue bubble down the bottom. Sorry, are you glad you see that?
I said, I'm in the blue bubble. I said, "Are you glad you walked me out?" Question mark.
And what's your response?
Defendant said, yes, with, or like, semicolon, some type of remark there. "Are you?" Question mark. And I said, DEF for definitely.
The text continued. He told her the feeling was mutual and that he never saw it coming. He said he assumed she was happy with her situation. She said she was, but that things had deteriorated. She went on to tell him that it was very, very complicated, that she and John dated when they were kids, and then his sister died and everything got fucked up. Brian asked her if they are breaking up, and she said she doesn't know, that he hooked up with another girl while they were on vacation. "I'm very close to his niece," she wrote. "It is a very fucked up situation." She said they went away for New Year's Eve. She put the kids to bed and found him in the lobby of their hotel all over one of their friends.
Oh,
"Whatever, it doesn't matter," she wrote. Karen then asked him what he wanted from her. He responded, "What's on the table?" She asked him what he wanted ideally. He responded, "The real deal," to which she replied, "Doesn't exist." At one point, Karen told him she went from being solo to trying to give attention to kids who aren't hers. "And I never wanted kids," she wrote. They continued to text. At another point, Karen wrote, "But honestly, the issues with the kids bother me more than him actually cheating. They're constant, and it feels like a lose-lose." Also told him that John saw the Ring camera video of her walking Brian out and asked her, "Christ, are you guys hooking up?" Brian responded, "OMG, great."
I responded, "Seriously?" The defendant said, "I'm serious," with an exclamation point. I said, "You legit planted one on me." The defendant responded, "I know where the cameras are anyway, duh." And then it was OMG Bruins with an emoji after that. I responded, "So your slick move isn't on there?" with some question marks. The defendant responded, "Course not." I responded, "Oh my God." And then I said, "I almost," an emoji with somebody throwing up. The defendant responded, "It was a peck anyway. I kissed Kerry and gay Jeff too." I responded, "Yeah, weak. I agree."
They continued to flirt over text. Karen stressed that no one was married in the situation and that it was normal. She said she didn't believe her or John were ever going to get married. Testified that at one point, Karen came over to his house.
And so what happened when she arrived, or what, if anything, did these two of you talk?
It was kind of more of this. It was a kind of a, wasn't an interrogation. It was a face-to-face version of trying to suss out and vet, like, what is this all about? Again, I mean, I'm not proud of these text messages. It is what it is. I take responsibility for them. But, John was a friend at the same time, and I certainly wasn't, if they were at the end of the relationship, they were at the end of the relationship, but I wasn't going to have somebody utilize me, that weaponize me against somebody that I liked. And it was just a weird experience. It was, why don't either one of us finish the drink?
You're
It
closing in
was,
on the target.
like I said, it was this type of like, what is this all about? And then she left. I think I might have asked her to text me when she got in, so I knew she got home.
He was asked to read the last page of text messages.
So Sunday, January 23rd at 9:40 p.m., defendant texted me, phone works, and then an emoji with arrows going like both ways. And I responded, thought you were all set, question mark. Defendant said, with talking, question mark? No. I said, are you sure? And she didn't respond, and I believe I said, that was it for that, the 23rd. I'm sorry.
So then the next date that any text communication was sent between the two of you would have been Friday, 11:32 p.m. Is that correct?
That's correct. That would have been when we were at the waterfall.
And again, what does the text say there?
Well,
That's from you to her. Is that correct?
yes.
And then the next text communication was the following day or Saturday, the 29th at 11:54 a.m. Is that correct?
Yes.
And who was speaking in that communication and what's...
That is the defendant, and the defendant said John died.
And did you respond to that at all?
No.
And did you have any other communication with Ms. Reed following receiving that text message on January 20th?
No, I have not.
Karen's attorney, Alan Jackson, did the cross. He asked Brian if he brought his attorney with him today. Brian said yes. He asked if Brian was well connected within the law enforcement community in Canton, and Brian agreed he was.
As a matter of fact, you did given a personal toast at one of these events, these retirement events, etc., correct?
Chief Berkowitz, yes.
And during the course of that toast, you even said if you want to hide a body, Ken Berkowitz is your man. Correct?
Check.
Did you say that? Did you say that?
I don't recall that.
You don't remember telling that joke in front of a room full of folks?
I don't.
If you want to hide a body, Kenny Berkowitz is your man?
I don't.
He agreed that he is friends with both Brian Albert and Kevin Albert, who's also a Canton police officer. On the night of January 28th, before going to the waterfall, he and Brian Albert went to the hotel, ate some food and had some drinks. This was after they got back from the funeral in Florida. He testified that he drank about 4 Jameson and ginger ale drinks, stayed behind at first after Brian Albert left, and then decided to drive over to the waterfall. He agreed that the last text message that Karen sent to him was on January 23rd, aside from letting him know that John had died. He said he was interested in her, but didn't consider himself to be romantically interested.
You seem to have a problem admitting that you had a romantic interest in my client. Is there a reason for that?
I was attracted to her.
Right. Physically attracted.
I thought she was an attractive woman.
Romantically attracted.
I'm not going to go there. No, I don't agree with that.
Of course you're not going to go there because that would put you in a very awkward position, wouldn't it, sir?
Objection. I don't know.
The objection sustained is to the form. You can ask it differently, and that answer will be stricken now.
I'm sorry, Bob. Matt,
Yes.
you're sexually attracted to her.
I was physically attracted to her, yes.
Sexually attracted to her is my question.
Well, I think in the text I said you're hot.
Okay. So my question again, Mr. Higgins, you seem to not answer my question. My question is, were you or were you not sexually attracted to my client?
Yes.
Okay. You were saying things like, what do you want from me? And I want the real deal. Those are your words, correct?
Yes.
And the real deal with you would be to date her, to get involved with her, romantically, correct?
No.
The real deal is what? What did you mean by I want the real deal?
Like a relationship.
What kind of relationship? A buddy-buddy relationship? You just want to go like
This is the same thing everybody wants. A real relationship.
a romantic relationship, Mr. Higgins?
It's possible.
Right.
He agreed that Karen never expressed anger or hatred for John, just frustration with his immediate family. Jackson pulled up the last page of their text messages again and pointed out that he had texted her stranger twice, and she wrote back, "Hey, I was at Hilly all weekend." Brian responded, "Have not heard from you." She didn't respond to that. Then on January 23rd, she wrote, "Phone works both ways." He wrote, "Thought you were all set." She wrote, "With talking? No." He wrote, "You sure?" She didn't respond again. He agreed the next time he ever communicated with her was after he saw her walk into the waterfall with John.
Do you recall that you openly shared the details of your interest in Miss Reed with your work supervisor at the DOJ?
Well, that was after I shared what happened that she kissed me. Yes, I did share that with her.
And that was with
That was the first time.
That was with a person by the name of Kate Dowd. Is that right?
That's correct.
And that was before January 29th.
Yes.
And that's because your interest in Karen Reed, when you call it romantic or sexual or whatever, your interest in something that was at least occupying your mind at that point, correct?
No.
It was occupying your mind enough to share it with your boss.
No, what I shared with my boss was the fact that that was it.
Did you discuss your flirtatious relationship with Karen Reed with Brian Albert at any point?
No.
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 So you were on a 4-hour drive in a snowstorm back from New York with Mr. Reed. I'm sorry, Mr. Reed, with Mr. Albert, and your interest in Karen Reed never came up, even though he's a good friend.
That's just something I wouldn't talk about.
Jackson asked if there was a reason why he changed his mind about going to the waterfall that night, when earlier at the hillside with Brian Albert, he had decided not to leave with him. Brian said he didn't always take him up on the offer to hang out, so he decided he would on that day. He said he didn't have any interaction with Karen that night. When John and Karen walked in, John came over to greet him, but Karen went the other way.
Safe to say that throughout that evening, once she was sidled up next to John and O'Keefe, or friends that she's with, she never turned back around and came over and even acknowledged you, correct?
That's correct.
So she basically ignored you the entire evening.
That's not how I interpret it, no.
I didn't ask you how you interpreted it. I asked you what she did. Did she ignore you or did she pay attention?
You can go ahead and answer that. Did she ignore you?
No.
So she paid attention to you. Came over and said hello, shook your hand, gave you a hug.
Well, just because somebody didn't come over doesn't mean they know it.
Did she do those 3 things?
The hug. What was the other
Say
thing?
hello, shake your hand, give you a hug.
No, she did not.
No, she didn't do any of those things, did she?
No.
Well, you didn't exist.
I think that's dramatic. No, I don't look at it that way.
He agreed that Karen didn't respond to his, text, but he said he didn't read into it. Jackson asked him about his text to John that night at 12:20 a.m. when he was at 34 Fairview. The text that said, "You coming here?" with 3 question marks.
Did you text Karen about coming over to 34 Fairview?
No.
So 12:20 a.m. after you left the waterfall and made your way over to 34 Fairview, you were more interested in getting John to come to 34 Fairview than you were in getting Karen to come to 34 Fairview.
No, that's not how I would describe that.
But you didn't text Karen, correct?
No, I didn't.
But you did text John.
Yes.
Jackson pointed out that Brian testified that he had never been upstairs at the Albert house. He agreed that he's never been on the 2nd floor, and that when Brian Albert was showing him his son's photos, that was in the living room, not upstairs. In this next clip, Jackson is referencing Brian Albert's testimony, where he testified that he and Brian Higgins went upstairs to look at the photos.
So the only floor downstairs from the 1st floor would be what?
The basement.
And the only floor upstairs from the basement would be what?
The 1st floor.
So if someone were to describe going upstairs to look at the photos that you described on the 1st floor, where would they have to be to go upstairs to look at those photos?
Are you saying on the 1st floor?
Correct. If the photos are on the 1st floor,
Yeah.
and someone said, we went upstairs to look at those photos, where would they have to be?
I guess upstairs.
The people would have to be upstairs.
Well, the photos would be upstairs. Is that what you're saying?
Where are the people? people have to be to go upstairs to the living room to look at the photos?
I'm not understanding the question.
If the photos are on the first floor, Mr. Higgins,
Yes.
the only floor beneath it is the basement.
Okay.
When someone says, we went upstairs to look at the photos, where do they have to be?
Well, who said they went upstairs?
All right, so Mr. Jackson, you can save this for argument. Next question, please.
Sure. If Brian Albert said he went upstairs to look at the photos, where would you have to be, Judge?
Assistant.
Jackson asked him if he has ever been down in the basement before, and he said yes, one time, maybe in the summer of 2021. Jackson then brought up prior testimony when Brian said he saw a tall, dark-haired male enter the house while he was there.
I believe that was in reference to asking to somebody's brother in a pickup. I don't know if that was during.
All I'm asking you, Mr. Higgins, is did you say that? Did you say tall, dark-haired male into the house while we were there?
I said they might have.
Did you say they might have?
Yes.
He isn't sure of the timeline, but he did see a tall, dark-haired male briefly come into the house while he was there. Jackson pointed out that he never said that in his interview with Massachusetts State Police, and that he only said it when he was under oath. Jackson asked him to clarify why he went to the Canton PD after leaving the Albert house in the early morning hours on January 29th. Brian said it was to move 2 cars there. Jackson said he wanted to go over it again, as Brian's story has evolved over the years.
We had an initial interview with Massachusetts State Police on February 3rd, 2022.
Yes.
And you indicated during the course of that interview, which was just a couple of days, 5 days, after the events in question, that you left Brian Albert's house, went to Canton PD to, quote, fulfill some administrative obligations, end quote, correct? You later said, when you testified in front of the grand jury on April 28th, that you went to Canton PD to do, quote, administrative work, correct?
Yes.
You never mentioned.
I said administrative things.
You said administrative work was your testimony in the transcript.
I believe it was things, but okay.
Okay. Can we agree, Mr. Higgins, that you didn't mention anything about moving cars around, correct?
Well, that would be administrative.
So, when you say I went to Canton PD to do administrative work or administrative obligations, you meant moving your car for your personal vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. Although you didn't say that you were going there to move your personal vehicle, right?
No, I said I didn't move my personal vehicle. I moved work vehicles.
Or either one. You just traded off vehicles, moved them out of the way, right?
I moved two. The purpose for going back there was to move 2 work vehicles.
And the reality is you'd gotten Canton PD earlier in the afternoon and actually moved some other vehicles, traded vehicles, didn't you?
I swapped vehicles out. That's correct.
And you left the vehicle that you now claim you had to go move exactly where they were, even though you knew a blizzard was coming, correct?
That is correct. Yes.
So you didn't move the cars a few hours earlier, knowing that you just have to come back and move those cars a few hours later.
I was more concerned to go eat and have a drink because it had been a long day.
So wouldn't you want to move those cars early on so you wouldn't have to go all the way back to Canton and play parking lot with these cars in the middle of the night?
Like,
Mr. Higgins, you weren't actually at Canton PD to do administrative work at 1:30 in the morning, were you?
I was moving the vehicles.
He said he doesn't recall talking to Brian Albert that night, that he agreed his phone records do show 2 phone calls between them at 2:22 a.m. A call from Brian Albert to him, and then a call from him to Brian Albert 17 seconds later. When Brian Albert testified, he said his call to Brian Higgins was a butt dial. Here's what Brian Higgins said about his.
You acknowledge that there's a 22-second phone call in your phone records, correct?
That's what's reflected by the record.
And 22 seconds is quite an amount of time. Would you agree?
It's 22 seconds.
Matter of fact, it's about this long. With the court's permission.
The court does not give permission. That's argument, Mr. Jackson.
If we were to count off 22 seconds, it's an uncomfortably long time, is it not?
No.
It's long enough to have a conversation, isn't it?
I didn't have a conversation.
Is 22 seconds long enough to have a conversation?
No.
You can't, a human being can't have a conversation in 22 seconds?
Sure they could. I don't think it's anything of substance.
Question. We were and you were shown these records at prior hearing. You had an explanation for what that 22-second call may have been and what the prior call may have been, correct?
Yes.
What was your explanation?
Well, I used a phrase that people commonly use as a butt dial.
He was asked if he was aware that utilizing phone records was an important part of an investigation, and he said yes. He was asked about his best friend, Matt Kelch, fellow ATF agent who's an expert in digital forensics.
You spoke to him about the death of John O'Keefe, did you not?
Yes.
And you asked him for a personal favor, sort of off the books, correct?
Objection.
In that form, I'll sustain.
Did you ask him for a personal favor?
No.
Did you ask him to show you or consult with you how to pull things off of your phone if you decide to get off your phone?
I asked him how I could pull text strings off my cellular telephone for the purpose of providing them to law enforcement.
And then you did that.
I did do that. That's
And that's
correct.
what you turned over to the police.
That's correct.
And any other information would still be on your phone ending in 5421, correct?
Well, that information stayed on my phone. I just took those strings off and provided them to the Mass State Police.
So where's your phone?
I do not have that phone anymore.
You destroyed that phone, haven't you?
No, I threw the phone away.
Well, that's destroying the phone, isn't it?
I had every right to do that.
I didn't ask you about your rights. Were you served with a copy of a notice on September 30th, 2022, that you not alter or destroy or manipulate anything on your phone? On September 30th.
I was served an order. Yes, that's correct.
And isn't it true in another hearing, you explained that on September 29th, the day before you claimed you got that notice, you changed phone carriers and changed phone numbers?
And I maintained the phone.
Until you didn't. When you destroyed it a month later by pulling the SIM card out and throwing it away, correct?
Objection.
Sustain.
Did you do that in October? Did you destroy that phone?
Objection.
Sustain.
Did you pull the SIM card out of your phone, Mr. Higgins?
It's possible that I did. I believe that's how I've testified. Yes.
You testified.
It's possible that if I took it out, that it was either cut or broken.
So that,
And that would have been after the date the order was already denied.
Mr. Higgins, I have one question left. One question. Did you, Mr. Lally already standing. I haven't even started.
Have a seat, Mr. Lally. Go ahead. Last question, Mr. Jackson.
Quiet, please. Quiet.
Mr. Higgins, very simply, and then we're done. Did you remove the SIM card for that phone, drive onto a military base, throw the SIM card in one dumpster and the phone in a different dumpster?
That is not correct.
Did you testify
That
that?
was your one question, Mr. Jackson. All right, folks, that's it for today.
Cross ended for the weekend and picked up the following week, with Karen's attorney David Yannetti finishing the cross-examination.
I'm going to proceed to ask you a series of questions which call for a yes or no answer. Can we agree that you'll answer yes or no to those questions?
If I can answer yes or no to the best of my ability, I will.
All right, I'm going to keep the question very simple, sir. Okay? You did not provide to investigators any other text messages between you and anyone else.
That's correct.
In September of 2022, you were served with a preservation order for your phone, were you not?
Yes.
After September of 2022, you never received anything in writing that canceled or lifted that preservation order, correct?
That's correct.
After September of 2022, you made the decision to dispose of your phone without consulting anybody's decision to throw out your phone, correct?
Yes.
Before you threw the phone away, you did a factory reset of it, did you not?
No, I did not.
Yannetti brought up his testimony from a prior hearing in May 2023, where he said he did do a factory reset on his phone. Brian said he doesn't recall saying that. When Yannetti showed him the transcript, he said it was wrong.
Well, in any case, you took the SIM card out of your phone, correct?
No, what I testified to was that
Did you take the SIM card out of your phone, yes or no?
I don't know.
Did you testify that that's what you do when you get rid of phones, sir?
What I said was that might have been the extent of it if I was to have done that.
And you either cut up the SIM card or ripped it up, correct?
I believe what I testified to was
I'm
I
not
would have.
asking you what you testified to. I'm asking you today, did you either cut up the SIM card or rip it up?
Cut it up or broke it.
And you'll agree with me that you took that destroyed SIM card and put it in a trash bag, did you not?
I believe it went in a trash bag, yes.
Well, you used a passive voice. It went in a trash bag. Did it fly out of your hand unexpectedly into a trash bag, sir?
No, sir. It would have been disposed of with the phone.
No, I understand, but are you reluctant to say that you put it in a trash bag, sir?
Judge.
Can you answer that? Are you reluctant to say that?
No, Your Honor, I put it in a trash bag. Oh, with my
And
trash.
then you also took your phone, now without the SIM card, and you put that in the trash bag too, did you not?
Yes, sir.
Then you drove to a military base and you threw both the destroyed SIM card and the phone into a dumpster, did you not?
Well, I was cutting through the base, and I believe that how I testified
To a
was
military base, sir.
I was cutting through a base, yes.
Did you drive to it?
Yes, sir.
And then you put both the destroyed SIM card and the phone itself, which were in a trash bag, into a dumpster on that military base, did you not?
I believe that's what I did, yes.
And as you were driving away, you knew that that destroyed SIM card and the phone would be gone forever, correct?
Yes, I threw it away.
And before you drove away, you did not transfer anything from your old phone to the new phone, correct?
That's correct.
You lost all of your photos on that phone, did you not?
Whatever photos I had on there, I did, yes.
You lost all of your videos on that phone, did you not?
And to the extent if I had any.
You lost all of your other text messages besides the ones that you had with Karen Reed and John O'Keefe, correct?
That's correct.
When John O'Keefe arrived at Good Samaritan Hospital in Brockton, Massachusetts, he was unresponsive and intubated, according to testimony from Dr. John Rice, an emergency room physician. He also arrived under cardiac arrest. Dr. Rice told the jury that John's body temperature was 80.1 degrees Fahrenheit, which indicated significant hypothermia. He also noted superficial abrasions, or scratches, on John's right arm. For Karen, Dr. Rice testified that she was brought in under a Section 12 order, which was an involuntary detention typically related to mental health concerns. According to blood tests, her blood alcohol content was 0.093 at 9:08 a.m., which is above the legal driving limit in Massachusetts of 0.08%. On cross, Dr. Rice agreed that his medical report did not include any statements from any responders suggesting that John had been hit by a vehicle.
In fact, there's no mention of a vehicle whatsoever, correct?
That's correct.
Dr. Rice, did you observe Mr. O'Keefe's injuries when he arrived at the hospital that morning?
I guess you'd have to define what observed injuries means.
Well, during the course of your treatment, did you inspect him for injuries?
So, yes.
You testified that you observed certain abrasions and scratches on his right arm, correct?
Yes.
Aside from his injuries to his right arm, and I believe you described sort of a laceration above his eye, John O'Keefe did not have any other injury on his body from the neck, correct?
I don't know if that's fair to say.
Well, you didn't report a single injury to his shoulders, correct?
Correct.
You did not report a single injury to his chest, correct?
Correct.
You did not report a single injury to his torso, correct?
Correct.
You did not report a single injury to his back, correct?
Correct.
You also did not report a single injury to his ribs, correct?
Correct.
No injury to his hips, right?
Correct.
You observed no injury to his knees, correct?
I reported no injuries to his knees. Correct.
No injury to his shins, correct?
Correct.
No injury to his ankles, right?
Correct.
And no injury to his feet.
Correct.
And Kevin O'Hara, the team commander of the Special Emergency Response Team, or CERT, for the Massachusetts State Police. He testified that his team arrived at 34 Fairview Road at 4:56 p.m. on January 29th.
As far as the information that's received prior to the document search, was there any items that were specifically identified as far as items that might total or anything in relation?
Tully had informed us that the victim, in this case, was struck by a vehicle. He believed there would be broken pieces of taillight in the area. He also stated the victim was missing his sneaker. So he asked us to look and search for both of those items.
7 members of his team conducted a grid search.
We found multiple pieces of red and clear taillight.
And where are they in relation to sort of the greater areas themselves?
They were on the street in between the flagpole and the fire hydrant.
And sir, in addition to the pieces of red or plastic, approximately how many pieces of that were able to locate on that day?
I believe maybe 6 or 7 pieces.
And how big or how small are they range in size as far as located?
There was 3 larger pieces, 2 red, 1 clear, and then a couple of smaller pieces.
In addition to the pieces of right here, I think there were other responses. So any other items?
We found a sneaker.
Is where was that sneaker located in reference? The reference to seeing your search address and the reference to red plastic.
It was same location. Generally, it was in between the flagpole and the fire hydrant. The sneaker was flush up against the curb and it was upside down. I think we found 1 piece of taillight prior to the sneaker, and then after we found the sneaker, we found a few more additional pieces of taillight.
He said they were all found at ground level. On cross, Lieutenant O'Hara agreed that he didn't know that the scene had been unsecured for about 6 or 7 hours before his team arrived.
At the time that Lieutenant Tully first called you, were you aware that no one from law enforcement was controlling that crime scene?
Objection.
Oh.
I was not aware of that, no, sir.
Were you aware at that time that no one had been controlling it for about 6 or 7 hours before you were called?
I was not aware of that, sir.
Were you aware that the scene had been abandoned by the police and investigators at about 7:50 in the morning?
Objection.
Allow it.
I was not aware of that, sir.
Were you aware that the scene was left open to the public for hours before you were asked to search?
I was not aware of that.
Maureen Hartnett is a forensic scientist with the Massachusetts State Police Crime Lab. She analyzed Karen's SUV at the Canton Police Department, as well as the clothing John O'Keefe had been wearing when he died. Hartnett testified about what she observed on Karen's SUV.
There was a dent in the trunk door, there were scratches on the rear bumper, and there was a broken taillight.
Now, in addition to scratches on the rear bumper on that area of that engine in the back, what anything else you observed sort of within that area?
I observed an apparent hair on the rear quarter panel about here, and I also noted some pieces of glass on the rear bumper. Oh, excuse me, I want to say apparent pieces of glass.
Now, as far as that word, when you say parent committing hair on your home, why that terminology? Why do you call it that at that stage when you're in the garage and you're making the suspect?
At that time, I noted that it was an apparent hair because I had not done any microscopic observation of the hair.
She said she later determined that the apparent hair was a human hair with a root. Her blood on the vehicle came back negative. As for John's clothing, she identified multiple red-brown stains on his sweatshirt and 13 rips and tears, particularly on the right sleeve. She testified that she couldn't tell what had caused the rips and tears. She said the reddish-brown stains on the shirt were tested for blood, which came back positive. There was also confirmed blood on his sneaker. On cross, she said she saw no visible stains or tissue on Karen's vehicle. Alan Jackson asked her more questions about the apparent hair.
You testified in direct examination that you also found a hair on that rear panel, the corner panel of the car, correct?
Yes, at the time of the scene, I noted it was an apparent hair, correct?
And the apparent hair, and I'll try to use that same word, you'll correct me, that apparent hair was not sitting on the horizontal bumper, but on a vertical portion of the quarter panel, correct?
That's correct.
Did you find the hair, or was that hair pointed out to you by somebody else?
I believe I located the hair.
How exactly was that hair secured to that vertical panel, if you can explain that?
It didn't appear to be secured in any way. It was just on that quarter panel.
Okay, so it wasn't taped?
No.
It wasn't glued?
No.
It wasn't stapled?
No.
It was not affixed in any way whatsoever. It was just perched on that vertical panel of the SUV, correct?
That's correct.
And for you to remove it, you found this at the same time that you found the general time, that you found the glass pieces as well.
That's correct.
So that hair potentially would have had to make that same 60-mile round trip in the same blizzard.
At the time, I don't know when that hair was deposited on the vehicle.
Right. And it didn't take you much to remove that hair, correct?
I picked it up with a pair of tweezers.
Didn't give you any resistance.
Not that I recall.
She confirmed there was no DNA testing done on the swabs she collected from the blood samples in the red Solo cups taken from the scene. There was no confirmation of whose blood that was. Ashley Valier is a forensic scientist specializing in physical match analysis, essentially examining whether broken pieces fit together. She analyzed debris from John O'Keefe's clothing, jeans, boxer shorts, gray long-sleeved shirt, t-shirt, and sneakers. She testified that she didn't examine the clothing itself. She just received the debris. This is what she saw in the debris from the shirt.
There was apparent dirt debris, many black, gray, blue, and orange apparent fibers, several pieces of red apparent plastic, several apparent hairs, one piece of green material, and one piece of clear apparent plastic.
And the clear apparent plastic, what if any measurements did you conduct with reference to that?
It measured approximately 1/8 of an inch by 1/16 of an inch.
She also examined plastic pieces, glass, and a drinking straw from 34 Fairview Road. She said many of the smaller plastic pieces fit together into a larger section that matched the taillight from Karen's SUV. On cross, Karen's attorney, David Yannetti, questioned how she received the evidence.
So when those several pieces of apparent red plastic and one piece of apparent clear plastic came into your possession, those pieces were obviously not embedded in either shirt when you examined them, correct?
I don't know, I didn't examine the shirt.
Well, so to my question, the pieces that you saw were not embedded in the shirt when you examined them, correct?
Correct.
And again, that's because you never took possession of any shirt in this case, correct?
Correct.
The pieces were loose and they were not embedded in anything, correct?
The pieces were, well, I examined the debris from the shirt. I don't know what the person who packaged it did to collect that.
Oh, and so it goes without saying that you never saw those pieces on either the orange shirt or the gray long sleeve shirt, correct?
I did not.
Yannetti asked her which trooper delivered the items to her.
So, submission 7, which is everything that's item 7 dash in this case, was submitted by Trooper Michael Proctor, I believe.
Okay. That was the answer to my question. Thank you. How long after January 29th, 2022, according to the records, did Michael Proctor deliver that clothing to the crime lab?
It was delivered on March 14th, 2022.
Okay, so about 6 weeks or so after January 29th, is that accurate?
Sure.
Given that your lab received this evidence on March 14th of 2022, you can't testify to the chain of custody of the clothing or the pieces of plastic prior to March 14th of 2022, correct?
Correct.
Christina Hanley is another forensic scientist from the Massachusetts State Police Crime Laboratory. She testified about the glass fragments found near John's body, as well as 5 pieces of glass recovered from Karen's SUV. She told the court that the base of the broken cocktail glass matched 6 of the other 9 pieces found at the scene, meaning they were together at one time as a unit. However, she did not find any physical match between the glass pieces and the ones from Karen's SUV. She conducted a chemical analysis and showed that one piece of glass from Karen's SUV was chemically consistent with the fragment found at the scene, but there was no definitive physical match. Agent Yuri Buchanan of the Massachusetts State Police told the jury that he interviewed Karen Reed at her parents' residence in the afternoon of January 29, 2022. He recounted what she said about the night of January 28th for the jury.
She stated that once at the waterfall, they stayed for approximately an hour, hanging out with acquaintances, and then they left the waterfall. She drove them to, after they were invited to a residence, she drove them to a location again, where she dropped Mr. O'Keefe off. She was asked if she saw Mr. O'Keefe walk into the home at 34 Fairview, and she stated she did not. She stated that she made a 3-point turn after dropping him off and left. She was asked whether or not Mr. O'Keefe, let me back up. She was asked if she knew how she found out about the damage to her vehicle, to which she stated, quote, "I don't know, it happened last night." End quote.
Karen's SUV was towed from her parents' residence to the Sally Port at the Canton Police Department. Surveillance video from inside the Sally Port of the SUV arriving there was shown to the jury. Sergeant Buchanan testified that he and Trooper Proctor were there with the vehicle too. In the video, he identified the two of them as they walked around in the SUV. The camera view was from the front of the vehicle, so you can't see the back. After a few minutes, they put crime scene tape around the entire SUV. After the Canton PD recused itself from the investigation and the Massachusetts State Police took over, Karen's SUV was then transferred from the Canton PD to a state police facility. Surveillance video from outside John O'Keefe's residence was also played for the jury. In it, Karen's SUV can be seen backing out of the garage at 5:07 a.m. on January 29, 2022. This is where the defense said in their opening statements that Karen actually broke her taillight as she reversed into John's car, which was parked in the driveway. This was after she woke up and went looking for him. Prosecutor Lally paused the video as Karen's SUV drove away, and Sergeant Buchanan pointed out the broken taillight.
Now, earlier in that video, did you observe Defendant's vehicle coming close to or coming into contact with Mr. O'Keefe's vehicle?
Yes, I did.
And as far as Mr. O'Keefe's vehicle, at least on this video, what kind of damage to observe Mr. O'Keefe's vehicle?
No damage.
As far as the ground area around Mr. O'Keefe's vehicle, specifically the rear of that vehicle, what if any red pieces or anything you observed on the ground around Mr. O'Keefe's vehicle?
Nothing was observed.
Surveillance video from C.F. McCarthy's in the waterfall is also played for the jury. Prosecutor Lally asked how many drinks it appeared Karen had that night in total, and he said 9. February 3rd, 2022, Sergeant Buchanan said he, Trooper Proctor, and Trooper DeChico decided to meet at 34 Fairview Road. He said the temperatures were a bit warmer, some of the snow had melted. They decided to do another search.
We located Mr. O'Keefe's baseball hat. We located a drinking straw from a cocktail glass. We located items of plastic, colored plastic, and other shards of colored plastic at the location. All those items were located on the grass portion of the yard near the flagpole at 34 Fairview Road.
He said he went back on February 4th and 10th, too. They seized more shards of glass and plastic.
Sergeant, is your memory refreshed as to how many items and what the items were that you recovered on February 10th?
Yes, it is.
And what were those items and how many, sir?
There was 6 items of clear red and black plastic and 14 items of plastic and glass.
Now, in addition to the dates that you were present at 34 Fairview Road and recovered items, them being February 3rd, February 4th, and February 10th, were there other dates that you're aware of that items were recovered by two position supervisors?
Yes.
And if you recall, what were those?
The dates were January 29th, February 11th, and February 18th.
Were there items recovered on February 8th as well?
Yes.
On June 9th, 2022, he met with Karen again after she was indicted. A snippet of their conversation was played, in which Karen said, "Okay, you're aware he was beaten up by Brian and Colin Albert. We're all in on the same joke, right? My taillight is cracked, and John was pulverized."
Upon hearing that statement, what, if anything, did you do?
I advised the defendant not to further speak.
I'll allow that.
Ross, Sergeant Buchanan was asked about the surveillance video that Prosecutor Lally had just shown of the officers with Karen's SUV in the Canton PD Sally Port.
That shows the vehicle coming into the Sally Port and really which side of the vehicle.
So that is the driver's side of the vehicle. What that video depicts is a mirror collection. Although mirrors are accurate representation of what you're seeing, it's just inverted. So that is the driver's side of the vehicle. I do not know why it is inverted, but that's the way it was presented, collected and presented from Canton Police.
Jackson asked him to identify the officers in the video. Sergeant Buchanan identified himself by the driver's side of the car and said Trooper Michael Proctor was the one wearing a winter hat.
Yesterday, you testified, you indicated that the 2 individuals in this scene were you and Proctor, correct?
That is not correct. There was 2 individuals in the rear of the vehicle I shined my light to. That was me and Trooper Proctor.
These Proctor was back in the rear of the vehicle.
I can't tell because of what the head is. I just know that Trooper Proctor was wearing a black hat.
This person in that video to the left, to the rear of the car is wearing a black hat.
I can't tell. I don't want to be locked into a statement where later on you show me that it's somebody else magically. I can't testify to that.
What magic about this? It's your testimony. It's after you just see.
I don't see that, no.
Jackson continued to ask him questions about the man near the rear of the vehicle.
You see the person toward the back of the vehicle walking to the opposite side of the SUV?
I do.
What area does he appear towards?
He appears to be going towards the rear passenger side of the vehicle, although it does not appear so because the video is inverted, a mirror image. That's where he's going.
And so you testified for at least a half an hour about this video yesterday, correct?
I'm sorry, it was a long day. I don't know the timing of how long I testified.
You testified about this video yesterday, did you not?
I testified about this video.
And you testified that it was true and accurate, correct?
Correct.
You testified that it was reflective of your observations of what was happening in that Sally Port that evening, correct?
I testified that this is a accurate scene and collection of video evidence from the Sally Port.
And as that truck sits in that Sally Port, just like this, it appears from all perspectives that what we're looking at is the passenger side of the car and that right rear taillight right there shining in our face, correct? From this perspective.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
From this perspective, from the perspective that the jurors are looking at, from all indications, that would appear to be the right side of the truck, the passenger side of the truck, and that taillight you can see is the right rear taillight from this perspective.
The way it presents itself, yes.
And yesterday, during the entirety of your question by Mr. Lau, not once did you mention that this video is actually completely inverted.
I did not know.
Mr. Lau didn't ask you if it was inverted, right?
That's correct.
If I hadn't gotten up here because question that would be left uncorrected, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
The person with the winter cap appears to walk directly to the what ultimately should be the right rear taillight.
Right on to me,
Of
my
this car,
brother.
correct?
You was in the day.
That's the vicinity, yes. That's correct.
Jackson asked him to pay attention to the person in the hat who was hovering near the back of the vehicle.
I'd like you to pay attention to the right rear of this car. And I know it's completely back, but it's the far corner of the car. Do you see a person's head?
It appears as if someone's still there.
And that person is looking at or near what portion of the car?
In real life or as it's depicted?
Is the person near in real life, near the right rear taillight?
And yes.
Standing there, hovering around, right?
We don't know the distance that they are in proximity to the actual vehicle. We just know that they're behind
Go.
the vehicle at that.
Looks like it's pretty close. Sort of.
Objection.
Does that look like he's in close proximity to the right rear taillight?
As I said, I can't tell how far away he is from the vehicle.
It's right there, sir. You can't tell that he's right next to the right rear taillight?
Objection.
Sustained.
I want you to pay attention to what that person does as soon as the other person comes out from behind that car. You see him move.
Jackson continued to play the video, noting that the person near the back of the vehicle moves as soon as the other person comes into view.
Do you see that person move?
I saw movement in the frame, yes.
Right when the other person is in eyesight of the person with the right rear, correct?
I mean, the video speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Objection, Your Honor.
The objection sustained. No commenting, Mr. Jackson. We've talked about that.
Jackson then told him there was one other issue he wanted Sergeant Buchanan to pay attention to with the video, the timestamp. He pointed out the time goes from 5:37 and 37 seconds to 5:38 and 1 second.
Did you see another person appear from the rear of the car?
There was a fog of some sorts. It did appear as if a person was actually in. There's two people back there. and 2 people walked away, or 1 person walked away.
Timestamp jumped to 5:38:01. Correct?
I cannot see the timestamp, sir.
Did it appear that there was an anomaly? There's a portion of that video that was deleted. What's missing? Not deleted, just missing.
Objection.
Can you tell that? Does it appear that way to you, Sergeant?
No, Your Honor, I cannot tell what is happening with it.
That's where we have to stop for today. The next episode, part 4, will be the conclusion to this 2024 trial, and you won't believe some of the things you're going to hear. Thanks again for listening. Until next time.
Yes, Mr. Gecko, you're a huge inspiration to us all. But who was your muse?
Oh, my dear old Nan. She imparted many wise words to me. She would say, never let the fame get to your head. Always remember who you are, and let people get more than just savings with Geico's fast and friendly claim support. I lived up to her advice, and now anyone can file a claim anywhere and anytime. I miss her so much.
Did she go somewhere?
The extended quilting trip.
Get more than just savings. Get more with Geico.
We've all had that nightmare where you're alone, maybe in the middle of nowhere, and somebody is following you. On Deadly Nightmares, a podcast from ID, you can listen to the real stories of ordinary people stalked by serial killers and attackers. On every episode, survivors share the chilling moments they knew their lives were in danger and how they managed to escape their attacker. Investigators and family members close to the victims discuss the disturbing details of each case and exactly how they happened. These cases are the stuff of nightmares. They've happened in real life to real people. And now you can hear some of these people share their stories. For you court junkies who like hearing more about the crimes and investigations that follow, especially with a survivor perspective, I think a good place to start might be one of their recent episodes called A Night Alone. That one is about a college sophomore who discovers that she has a stalker, and when she finally comes face to face with her stalker, she discovers they are no stranger. Listen to Deadly Nightmares wherever you get your podcasts. Today, we're going to jump right into this episode, which contains the conclusion of the 2024 The Commonwealth versus Karen Reed trial. This is the longest case I think I've ever covered on Court Junkie. You may be wondering if this part 4 of this 4-part series is actually the conclusion of this case. And we'll get into that more at the end of this episode. Also, as a side note, of course, the week I go to record this, I end up getting sick. So please bear with my scratchy voice. It's either record as I am or put this off for another week. So hopefully I made the right choice for you guys. Now let's get into the remaining testimony and see what the jury decided at the end. This is Jillian in partnership with Law and Crime. You are listening to Court Junkie episode 289 of 4.
Identification confirmed.
We've all had that nightmare where you're alone, maybe in the middle of nowhere, and somebody is following you. On Deadly Nightmares, a podcast from ID, you can listen to the real stories of ordinary people stalked by serial killers and attackers. On every episode, survivors share the chilling moments they knew their lives were in danger and how they managed to escape their attacker. Investigators and family members close to the victims discuss the disturbing details of each case and exactly how they happened. These cases are the stuff of nightmares, but they've happened in real life to real people. And now you can hear some of these people share their stories. For you court junkies who like hearing more about the crimes and investigations that follow, especially with a survivor perspective, I think a good place to start might be one of their recent episodes called A Night Alone. That one is about a college sophomore who discovers that she has a stalker, and when she finally comes face to face with her stalker, she discovers they are no stranger. Listen to Deadly Nightmares wherever you get your podcasts. Sergeant Nicholas Barrows with the Dighton Police Department testified for the Commonwealth on day 22. Prosecutor Adam Valley did the questioning. Sergeant Barrows told the jury that he worked with the Massachusetts State Police Department of Karen Reed's January 29, 2022. He responded to the address of Kieran's black SUV in the driveway.
Damage to the right rear taillight. To my best ability and recollection, that taillight was not completely damaged, it was cracked, and a piece was missing.